Hi, this is SC Linux Administration, session 7, Building and Loading SC Linux Policies. So this is in continuation of session 6, where what we will be doing is we'll be downloading the source code, source policy, and then we will be compiling that policy and load it and make it effective. So we'll not be using the existing policy of SC Linux for our system. So by the end of the session, you will be understand the concept of how to build the policy, how to download and how to compile it, the source policy, which actually what will give you the benefit if you are stuck anywhere and if you want to write your own custom policies, you and you want to understand a given policy from the source code, you will be able to do that. That is the whole agenda of the session is. So agenda of the session is downloading and installing the source and preparing the build area, build the base policy package, compiling the monolithic policy, loading the monolithic policy, compiling policy modules, loading policy modules, policy type enforcement module syntax, the TE file syntax, policy type enforcement module example. In continuation of the previous topic, because in the previous topic what we discussed was we created a template using the policy generation tool, right? So we developed the policy template generation, and we had this TE file, and we discussed how template looked like, and there were many templates available, if you notice that. So in this session we'll be doing all these things, and by the end of the session you will be able to download, compile and load the policy, SC Linux policy, and relabel your system according to the new policy without wasting time. So this is the URL that you can download the policy from, download and unpack the policy source from github.com SC Linux project/ref policy. So let's take a look at. We will start this with make directory cd. We will directly do this first. Okay. So before we proceed, now since I have practiced, so to save time in typing, I have the commands. So I'll just use my history because I done that and deleted that. So let me go to a directory mkdir /temp /ref policy, that is reference policy. And now if I go to this directory cd temp ref policy, I have somewhere very recently I used this command. So let me check history, grab wget, which will give me the command. 1 second. So this is the policy. This is from where I downloaded that. So github.com SC Linux policy project ref policy archive master.zip. This is how you can download it. So let me use this command directly now. 377, which is given in the slide. So this way the policy is downloaded. Now you can take a look at this. This is our master.zip, the policy source code. So unzip this, unzip master, and the policy files are unzipped. Now we have a directory here, so we can remove this master now temporarily. We don't require it, we delete it. So here we have one directory where we have our policy source code. So cd ref policy master, and here we have the source code. So this is the source code of the policy which we have downloaded, extracted and downloaded the policy file source code, latest source code. In this file what we have is a very important point is this file build.conf. We need to do some customization, and we need to look at the options given in this file before we go for the building. So let's take a look at this file build.conf. Now if you go by this, type is standard, policy Output policy, by default you can go up to 18 version or 31 version. You cannot change this policy to 32 or 33. If you change it, it will throw an error, because latest policy as per official curriculum is official policy release is 31. So you can give any version number from that range up to policy number 31. So you leave it, it will create the default policy, which is 31 right now. Policy type standard, MCS, MLS. So we are creating a standard policy. Name is a ref policy. You can give any name, like if I want to give the policy name to be, let's say, the Skillpedia, I can give it. This is the policy name. This is going to be the policy name which I'll configure in my website on my configuration file /etc/se/linux/config. In that file I need to specify the policy name. This is going to be the policy name, the Skillpedia. By default it is targeted as of now. Policy name is targeted, and we are going to change it. This is going to be our policy, the Skillpedia. Distro is Red Hat. We need to uncomment this line, because whatever distribution, Linux distribution you're using, you need to specify that. So this need to be uncommented, Red Hat. Then permission handling, unknown permissions, deny. We need to allow that, because unnecessary, if we deny this permission, then we may get so many warnings, and by default it will deny the permissions which are not known to the policy. So therefore we don't want to allow them, because it is testing, it is development. So it is okay to allow in the beginning. Direct init RC, no. This setting will allow sysadmin to directly run the init script instead of requiring a run init. So we don't need it. Systemd setting, this will configure systemd as init system. Yes, of course, this is what we have, and by default this is, I think this is yes. Setting this configure systemd as a init system. No, we are not using init system. Systemd is good. So then we have monolithic. Build monolithic policy. Right now it is a modular policy, so let's make it yes to make it monolithic policy. We'll build a monolithic policy rather than approach of module by module. So these are the settings, custom build options, MLS, then MCS. So these are the settings. Quite is equal to no, that is output will be shown. These are some of the settings which I will discuss in my presentation also. Once these settings are done, you are good to go. So first thing what you try is, you try simple make command. So this is done. The make command, simple make is done. What you need to do is, first you need to do make conf, as it suggests, make conf. So let's use make conf. After make conf is done, you can directly go for make build or make load, because these are the targeted, what are the possible targets for making the policy. So make load, we are going to do that after this, and the policy will be ready to be implemented, or we can reboot our system, configure the policy, and we can have the policy in place. So make conf is what different targets are. I will explain that. What is the meaning of conf, what is the meaning of load, what is the meaning of this. So I will talk about these options. So make conf is done. Now we can load it, make load. Different targets we can use for making the policy, make load. And after make load is done, we are going to change the configuration file and relabel the system and reboot the system. Right, policy is done, policy is created. The policy name is the Skillpedia, and it is available here. You can see that. So you can verify that cd/etc/Skillpedia policy. Under this you will find the policy. So policy is there, policy.31, cd dot dot cd dot dot, and here you will see the different policies. So targeted was existing, and we created this policy Skillpedia, and now can be used in the configuration file. So cd etc slash sclinux slash config, and here we can use the policy now. So sclinux permissive, best is to keep permissive, don't use enforcing, because if there is something wrong with our policy, then our system will not be able to boot if we change it enforcing. So let's change the policy to the Skillpedia and comment out the other two, because I tried other options. Ref policy, it was successful, and this time I created the Skillpedia. The Skillpedia sclinux type is the Skillpedia which I have created, and of course I need to use touch slash dot auto relabel. Auto relabel, relabel, correct. And now reboot. So this will reboot my system and relabel my system. Now let's understand the concept which I demonstrated here. So here we are. So make a directory to download the policy temporarily, right, to hold it. So I created the directory, I changed to the directory, I downloaded the policy source code, unpack it to a temporary directory, and use the install src to make target to install the policy sources. This is required to make a sources, because where you download this. So this install make source is required, and I missed that, but because I run that earlier. So basically when you use install source, it will install the source to this location, rep policy src policy here at this location, and then from there you build the policy. Actually that is the right way to do it. So unzip that, cd rep policy master, make install source. When you use this command, I missed this command, that command should have been run. Install source, this policy source can be found under this directory, etc sclinux rep policy src policy. Why? Because it will simply move all those files which we noticed, which we found after extracting the file from the zip file. Then go to the directory, cd, this is the right approach, cd etc sclinux rep policy src policy, go to this directory and then use the build and run commands which I was talking about. That's what we need to do after this is done. So edit the policy build.conf which we were working, which I modified, sclinux ref policy src policy build.conf file, and we edited it. Like for example, see the type standard, we specified that. Name, I specified this, I changed the name. So these are some of the settings which we changed. Based on the need you can make changes. Definitely it is not mandatory, but this one is important. Distro is Red Hat, you need to change this. And then that is unknown permissions that you should allow. By default it is denied, right? So these are the settings based on your setting. You can try with different options. There's no harm in trying options. When you are installing it for the first time, when you are building it for the first time, you can try different options to build your policy. So this is your build.conf file I modified. After changes are done to this file build.conf, like monolithic is equal to y, we were building monolithic policy, monolithic is equal to y. Then sensitivity, the default values, and after the changes were done in the build.conf, which is the main thing, then we use install the policy. So next we run make conf. Okay, then if it fails, in my case it failed for the first time when I did it because Python was not installed. So I simply noticed the messages in the last, and it was given that Python command not found. So I installed Python, all the Python in the libraries, and then I was successful in getting the configuration done. Then make load and make validate. Validate will verify the validity of your policy, right? So this is the sequence, and this is a URL where you can find out this policy. Let's go to this URL also, github.com sclinux project ref policy, which will give you different options. We need to take a look at this also. Let's go to that. That is useful, quite useful to study the latest update on the policy. So github.com/SC policy SC project /ref policy, from where I downloaded this, and these are the URL in our wget command. So you can read the documentation, and this is the policy which we downloaded, and these are the options for building the policy. This is what I have used in my system in my presentation. Install source is the first thing. Install the policy source into this directory. Then I use install conf. Then if you are stuck, if you are getting error messages, or if there is some problem in the building, then you can use make clean. Make clean will delete all temporary files, compiled policies and file context. Configure files are left intact. So clean will do the cleaning of temporary files. It will delete the temporary files and folders. Bear, do not clean make target and also delete configuration file. Do the clean make target and delete the configuration file also. So this is basically delete everything. Bear means right from beginning. Then HTML. So we used conf. Clean I used earlier for when I was doing it, and then after that I used make load. Make load is compile, package and install the base module and reference policy modules configured to be built as loadable modules. Then insert them into the module source. So that means this is the final step. You could have used install also, compile, package, install the base module and reference policy module configured to be built as loadable modules. So these are, and validate is for validating that. So these are the options. You can spend some time in finding out and understanding different options for building the policy. So this is all about the policy options which are available for building the policy from the source code. So this is the documentation from where I referred to these important options and I used for my purpose. Now what we have to do is, then we modified the file etc sclinux config file, and we changed the sclinux type to our policy. In my case it was the Skillpedia. So and here we changed it to permissive rather than to enforcing, because if something goes wrong it should not stop the system from booting, because in permissive mode that when we set it to permissive, what exactly happen is it will allow but logs the denials. So sclinux type is the name of the policy which you built. So in my case it was the Skillpedia. Once the policy configuration file is done, next step is touch dot auto relabel in your root directory and reboot your system. So once you reboot your system, it will do the relabeling, and once the relabeling is done, your policy is active, and you will see using se status command to verify that. So before we move on, let's see whether our policy or our system is restarted after relabeling or not. Let's verify. So it is still working, still building. So no problem, we'll come back after some time once it is done. Three components in the policy module. We are talking about the source code, we are understanding now, and this template we generated in the previous session. So three components are there. Type enforcement file. It contains all the rules used to configure your application. So main is this. This is the most important, because here you specify the rules for your application. Then FC file context. It contains the regular expression mapping on the disk file context, on disk file context. Then we have IF, that is interfaces file. It contains the interfaces defined for the other confined applications to interact with your confined application. Means because our application is going to be confined, so what other confined application will interact with us? So these three files are important for a policy module: type enforcement, file context, interfaces file. So from these files we create a policy package PP. Compiler package role generate policy package to be installed into the system. So PP is the generated file. What we start with these three files. We create these three files, we specify the details in these three files, and we compile it and come out with a package called policy package or PP. Now let's go one by one the details of these files. Type enforcement rules, the first part. It is a set of policy rules that specify relationships between types. That is type enforcement policy. Several rules are there, different rules are there, somewhat evolved and changed over past 1 year. It's a challenge for those working with older systems because they keep on changing. Type enforcement rule in a policy can be numerous. For example, in a simple policy you may have a simple allow rules. As of now we have 27,000 type allow rules are there, and more than 1,000 type transition rules are there. So it will be impossible for anybody to remember these type rules, because ultimately for the given applications you don't have to remember them. You need to focus on your application when you are defining rules for your own application. So as the applications are being developed, as the new applications are coming up, we are getting new more and more rules, type rules. So nothing to worry, nothing to remember about it, but yes, we need to understand primary goal of a type enforcement policy. What is that? To define access control for given program, that is a domain, because a domain is ultimately the scope of the program under which your SE Linux is to be configured. So define access control for a given program. Some of the motivations or regions governing the decisions could be this: 1. Program protection, prevent interferences, modifications of program resources. 2nd, list privileges, limit program to minimal access right necessary for the program. 3rd, limit error propagation, side effect of errors contained within the domain access rights. And 4th, all of which leads to greater security assurance, significance less chance of exposure to vulnerability. These are the possible regions or motivations governing your decisions for writing the type enforcement policy. Roles associated users with domains, not the type enforcement policy. Some domain type are designed for users rather than programs. These are some roles we need to specify for the type enforcement policy. So these are the primary goal of type enforcement policy. The regions or recommendations. What are the regions which govern the type enforcement policy writing decision? Other goals of a type enforcement policy: self protection. Kernel protect itself and its resources. It protects the policy itself. That is the goal of when you are writing. Enforce other mandatory policies, that is information flow, domain isolation, and guard application controlled information flow. These are going to be the goal. This should be the goals of a type enforcement policy when we are writing it. All focused on domain, that is program access, not users, because as I said, our focus is not the user we never bother about the users. In this case, what we focus is what processes, what resources the program is accessing. So our focus is the program running, the program in execution, or the process of gaining the access to the resources of the system. So we controlled from the program point of view, from the process point of view, to for while writing the policies. And that's how SC Linux works. Policy rules. Policy rule statement. How we specify these policy rules. The rules syntax is command, source type, target type, colon, class parameters, semicolon. We need to understand one by one each one of them. Command. Command may be allow, don't audit, audit to allow, never allow. So command may be any of these. Class. Class may be file, directory, socket file, TCP socket, or process. Parameters may be read, open, or write. Now look at this example. Allow. This is a command taken from here. Then staff underscore t, that is type, source type, etc underscore t, file. So this is our class written here. This is the class after colon. So file is the class, and the parameters are within curly braces open, read, get attribute, IOCTL, lock. These are the parameters. Another example is don't audit, staff t, shadow t. These are the name which are specifying source types and target types. So source type is staff, target type is etc in this case. The second example, source type is staff and target type is shadow, and the file is a class, and these are the parameters. So this is the policy rule example. We need to understand this, and let's continue. So allow, the type enforcement access vector syntax rules. Rule underscore name underscore src type, target type, class, permissions. This is what I just specified. The rules possible are allow, that is for grant access, never allow, that is TE assertions, audit allow when access is granted, don't audit, don't log access denied, and audit deny, reach by don't replace by don't audit now in our case. Type, we have understood this also. One or more type or type attribute identified, or star means all types. The keyword self in the target same as source or including multiples. Tilde symbol can be used for complement for a specific type or attribute set. With more than one identifier, we need to enclose them into braces. And this is the repetition. Some of the part were repeated from the previous slide, but some more details are added in this slide. So for example, type 1, type 2, type 3, or multiple types are added in the curly braces. Now access vector cache syntax rule. Classes, one or more defined classes we can specify using star or tilde symbol may be used. Multiple classes can be specified using braces. Permissions, one or more permissions defined for the specified classes. All permissions must be valid for all object classes specified here. Star and tilde may be used for wildcard. Multiple permissions enclosed into braces. If multiple rules specified same target class, then allow, don't audit, audit to allow, deny, union, all can be used, or union of all permissions is used while specifying that in braces. Type allow rule. When we say allow, what is the meaning of this allow rule? It grant source type access to the target type. No access granted by default, because you need to exclusively specify. No access granted by default. Granular access specifications like object classes and permissions. For example, allow user t bin t file read get attribute lock execute. What is the meaning? That means allow user t domain type read and execute access to bin t files, binary type files, binary context type files. This is the meaning of this rule. Another example, allow user t self process star. That means allow user t domain type all access to itself, because we are specifying itself self here. So this is the example for this particular case. Third example, allow user type bin type file read and execute. So this rule allow any process whose security context has the type user t to have read and execute permission, because we are specifying read and execute to any ordinary file whose security context has the type bin t. So this is the process with the security context this, and this is the file context allowed on this object these permissions, and this is how we specify the rules, and they govern the policy, they control the policy behavior. While writing these policies, we need to get master of this, we need to get mastery on these rules specifying the policies. Never allow rule. A never allow rule, it states invariants for a policy. No allow rule may violate any invariant, if so policy will not compile. Not included in the running system, enforced by check policy when compiling the policy. Never allow, for example, never allow user t shadow t file write. This means this never allow rule would prevent us from adding a rule to the policy that allow user t to write the file of type shadow t, which means we are talking about the shadow password, by generating a compiling error. This rule does not remove access, it just generates compile errors, which means we already have the right policies for the shadow file, and therefore we cannot do more rules, we cannot add more rules to that. So this prevent other application writers to write rules for your application. This way your application is confined, your application is controlled by your own rules only. No other person can write rules for your case. Audit rule, we talked about three rules for there: audit allow, don't audit, and audit deny. This was old, now this is then replaced with don't audit. Audit rule, allow, log when the access is type enforce allowed, and don't audit, this is new, don't audit when the access is denied. Default is to audit denies, that is put them into a log file. It used to eliminate expected access denies, and this is old, now no more use, so I'm not going to talk about it. So these are type audit rules which we can specify while defining our policy, while specifying the policy rules. Now let's look at the complete example now. Policy type enforcement module example. Create a file local policy.te. This is where we specify the rules. Okay, create local policy.te with these contents: policy module, local policy, whatever you want to specify you can specify, and we know how the templates are generated. We generated the template also yesterday, so in the previous session. So policy module, local policy, whatever name you want to specify, version number of the policy, generate require. Now this is a backquote, type user t, type varlog t. So these are the types we are defining, and based on these types we are specifying the rules here. So allow user t varlog t on the directory get attribute search open read. This means that use the backtick right after the gen require call. This is important as it denotes the start of the block, and the other regular tick character which denote the end of the block. So interestingly, this is the syntax. Start of the block is done by back tick, that is back quote, and end of the block is defined by straight quote or normal tick, regular tick. So this is how the modules are created, modules are written, and this is one simple module example. You have the source code, you can study all the modules of your choice where you are interested into. Create the SE Linux policy module. Now create the SE Linux policy module with the command makefile. Make hyphen f. Remember the developer, you have to install a policy core util hyphen devel hyphen f. You specify the file, that is make file in the development folder, because when you install policy core util, this folder will be created and you will get this make file there. So use this complete path with hyphen f and then specify the policy which you have created, that is local policy.pp, the policy which you have created. So this will be generated from the policy from your file. Here is what is the name of the policy, that the name of the file local policy.te, and the name of the module inside the file is policy module local policy 1.0, and the name of the resulting local policy.pp are related and need to use the same name, just a different suffix. So that means local policy.te is the file which we created. .pp will be the file which will be generated. Then you can load this module into your policy store by using se module hyphen insert local policy.pp, and this is how you are inserting your rule, your own policy into the kernel, and that's complete the cycle of developing a custom policy, generating or compiling the policy from the source code. That's all for this session. Let's take a look at that by the way, if our compilation is complete, and if there is any error I need to verify that, because anything can happen anytime. So here it is stuck. That means because of the source code was I think it is due to that fact, that problem. I did not configure the policy, it is stuck, it is still working, starting GNOME display manager. A lot of things are failed because of that. I think policy was not generated properly. We'll fix it, because what I'll do is I'll simply disable the SE Linux policy, I'll remove that, I'll clean that, and I'll make it work. But it is working still. Start job is finished. Let me see what is happening. I missed one step. You notice that install source, that was not done, and it may be the region because of it is not working, but it is still trying. Let us see what is happening. Relabeling take actually quite some time. Let's see if it has worked. So as far as if you don't miss that step, then it is okay, then this part is complete. That's all for this session. Thank you very much.